Should you go to college? This is going to be a video all about why you should go to college and why you shouldn't go to college. Because I know right now it's that time of year where everyone is applying to go to college. And really, I'm just making this video because this is the video I wish I had had when I was applying to college. Because who knows, I might have made different life decisions and I might not even be where I am right now. But seriously, just sit back and sit tight as we get into the topic. So first, before we even get into if you should or shouldn't go to college, we got to get into a bit of the history of college. So understand, before we had the internet, before there was any of this internet stuff, you had not very many choices, but you did have some choices. So you could either do some blue collar work, so that means you just go into construction, become a plumber, become an electrician, whatever it be, you work with your hands essentially. Then there is also white collar jobs, which will require you to get a college degree. So this would be stuff like being a lawyer, being a doctor, being a businessman, an investment banker, being a consultant. You'd need to go to college to get a degree for that. Then there is also forms of nepotism, just, people getting handed down businesses through their family and whatnot. So, the options were pretty limited though. Like if you wanted to go and start a business, it was way harder back then because you had to set up a brick and mortar shop. You had to go out and buy a physical location. You had to go out and buy a physical store, then have stock, have customers come in and make sure that business is on a good street corner. Make sure that there's actually people that want to come in and buy your product. It was way more complicated. So, before it was just like, if you went to college, it was a lot more valuable because, there weren't as many people going to college as well. You had a lot of people in blue collar jobs. You had a lot of people running businesses. So if you went to college, it was something that was seen as it was seen as higher education. It was seen as something that higher status individuals would do. But we have this thing called the internet nowadays, and times have seriously changed. So nowadays, sure, you can still do blue collar, you can still do construction, you can go hit the oil rig, and you can also go to college, get your degree, go get your job as a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, whatever it may be, or you can use the internet because that's essentially where all the business is now. You can use the internet to do little side hustles, whether it's, selling shoes, selling clothes, you can trade stocks, you can trade crypto, you can become an influencer, you can create a business centered around, social media, create a YouTube channel, create a Twitter page, create a TikTok page, create an Instagram page. There's a lot of options. I'm not even scratching the barrel. Like I'm not even scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm barely scratching the surface with what I just described. But now with the internet, it's like the floodgates have been open. So what was once like, if you go to college, like you're guaranteed to, rise up and, be of higher status, be of higher education, have higher knowledge and get a better job and whatnot. Now it's just not as valuable because of stuff like the internet and also stuff just like feminism and whatnot. Now I'm not saying that I'm not out here being like, yo, I don't think women should have rights. No, before I get misquoted, I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is that because it went from just being guys in the workforce, going to college and whatnot, getting their degree, to now you essentially double the number of people, which means you bring down the amount of income essentially. So now that you have men and women both going to college, it's like, even if you get a degree and go get a job, you're not going to be getting paid as much from that job. Whereas before, since there was so many less people going to college, the people that got those jobs that needed college degrees, which were only men, would get paid way more. So, it's give and take a little bit with it. Nowadays, you don't really need college, but although college is an option for you to follow, but just understand you don't need to go to college in order to be successful. Because really, at the end of the day, college is just a structure. It's a way for you to stay organized and it's a way to control you. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing is really up to you and how you use it. But essentially, college just gives you structure. You got classes you got to go to, you got deadlines and whatnot. It's setting you up for the workforce because that's what the workforce generally is. Once you go into a job, it's like, now, okay, you got projects, you got tasks, you got assignments that you got to do and get done by the end of the week, by the end of the month, whatever it may be. And honestly, when it comes to a job, it's not really about how well you do it. Sometimes it's honestly just about getting the work done and getting the task done, which is pretty sad when you think about it. But that's just the state of affairs these days. So should you go to college? I'm gonna lay out like why you should go to college. There's a couple reasons why you should go to college if it's something you want to do. Number one, if you got a scholarship, okay? If you got a scholarship, you might as well go to college. Like if it's this full ride scholarship that lets you go to college for free, then yes, you should go to college because, I'm about to get into the other reasons. Another reason why you should go to college is just network. If you don't go to college, you're gonna be missing out on just meeting a whole lot of people. You're gonna be missing out on having a whole lot of fun. Like the difference between an 8-year-old that just joins the workforce and the difference between an 8-year-old that goes to college is just that network effect. You go to college, you end up in a dorm room or whatever it be, maybe an apartment complex just next to people similar in age to you. Y'all end up linking, y'all end up talking, and who knows, maybe it turns into business relations down the road. Maybe they can get you a job down the road. Maybe you find your wife in college. Probably not though, because most of them is hus. But I'll just stay in the facts, y'all. But seriously. If you go to college, you will meet a lot of people and you'll just expand your network. You'll meet a whole bunch of people. Like me personally, I went to college at the University of Miami. I've met a whole bunch of people that, who knows, maybe down the road, maybe they can get me a job, maybe I can get them a job, maybe they can give me a business opportunity, maybe I can give them a business opportunity, maybe I'll marry one of them, who knows, probably not, but you get the point. The point is that if you go to college, you're gonna expand your network. So if you got a scholarship, or if you're really just focused on expanding the network, because understand, like if you go straight into the workforce, your network is going to be very limited. It's really just going to be limited to like the people that you work with, and that's about it. Like, yeah, you can go to a gym and meet people, but it's not going to be the same. You can go to a bar and meet people, but most of the people at that bar are going to be way older than you, or they're going to be in college and a little cliquish because of that. So just understand, if you do skip out on the college experience, you will be missing out on that networking opportunity. And on top of that, another big reason to go to college too is like just for your profession. Like if you want to play professional sports or something, like if you want to play in the NFL, if you want to play in the MLB, if you want to play in the NBA, then you can use college as a way to get to those leagues. Although nowadays you don't even have to do that, you know, just because, like I said, the floodgates haven't opened, the internet, just connectivity across the world. You don't really need to do that. But let's say, you know, you want to go play sports, you want to have that D1 college athlete experience, then go do that, my boy. On top of that too, also, like I said though, professions, like if you're in a STEM field like science, technology, engineering, medicine, if you want to go into law or something, yeah, you gotta go to college. In fact, you gotta go to college for a while, probably like at least 4 years, maybe even get your master's degree, go for an extra 2, an extra 4 years. So yeah, if that's your profession that you want to go into, if you want to go into like a field that requires a college degree, then yes, obviously go to college, pay the cost no matter what, scholarship or not. Because if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But just understand, you got options. So now I'm gonna get into a bit of like why you shouldn't go to college, and then I'm actually gonna tell y'all a bit about my personal story. So like, why shouldn't you go to college is just pretty much, you shouldn't go to college if you don't know what you want to do. Because, and there's some nuance to this topic, because let's say you don't know what you want to do, and you know, you go to college and you have to take out like $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in loans, and you know, you end up graduating, but now you're still just like, I don't even know what I want to do, and then you get a shitty job and you're stuck paying off the bills and you just wasted your time. Like, don't do that. I would say you shouldn't go to college if you don't have a scholarship. Like, if it's way too expensive, and combine that with the fact that you don't know what you want to do, it's not worth it. Like, just going to college just to go and be like, oh, I went to college, so that you can flex that to parents or flex that to anyone that asks you about what you do, is really stupid. Only go to college if it's cheap and or if it like helps you along in your path. But if you're just going to college just because like that's what everyone else is doing, that's what your friends are doing, which is kind of fucked, by the way, that you got to make a decision like that can really affect your entire life at 18. But hey, that's just the system. But seriously, so you don't know what you want to do, I wouldn't go to college. In fact, you can take a gap year, and during that gap year, during that time where you're out of the institution, where you're not, you know, constantly in school, constantly bombarded with like tasks and whatnot to do, maybe you go travel, maybe you just go work. But during that time, you'll have the time to think about what it is you want to do. Eventually, you'll gain some semblance and some like, you know, inkling of what it is you want to do, and then you can make a better and more informed decision. But let's say you got to pay some expensive ass tuition and you don't know what you want to do not go to college, my guy. Do not go to college. Also, moving on from that, just like if you just know that you don't want to get a job, you probably shouldn't go to college. Like me personally, I know when I went to college, after like the first couple months, I was like, yo, I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to work for anyone, which is why you see me currently doing what I am doing, where I'm pretty much working for myself and building my business. So I say all that to say, if you know that you don't want to work for someone, don't even waste time going to college, even if you got a scholarship. Even if like, well, I wouldn't say even if you got a scholarship, but don't make college the main thing. Because the mistake I made is that I went to college and put so much time and effort and focus and attention into college, into like getting the best grades and whatnot. When really, I always knew deep down, like, look, I don't really want a job. I don't really want to do any of that. What I would have been better suited at is like putting my time and attention and energy into meeting new people and a network, and then just going out into the city of Miami and talking to random people and seeing like who I can meet, who, you know, like maybe I'll parlay this into a job or into some new business opportunity, or just, you know, meeting people and having fun. Because I always knew, like, you know, school ain't really what I want to do. Getting a regular job is not what I want to do. So if you know that's you, then if you do end up going to college, because let's say you got a scholarship, because that's why I went, I had a scholarship, you know. So if you do end up going, then just make sure that you don't put all your eggs into the school basket if that's not like what you're really trying to pursue. On top of that too, if you have success, like if you have a business, if you have success or something, then you probably shouldn't go to college. Just, you know, keep pouring your energy into your business, keep pouring your energy into what it is that you're seeing success in. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you a bit about my personal story. Like when I went to college, I got a scholarship, so college was essentially, it was like pretty much free for me. So I was like, fuck it, that's a no-brainer. You're telling me I get 4 years to go to the University of Miami and, you know, party and live that Miami party lifestyle, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. So I went. And the thing though is that when I went, I didn't really enjoy it that much, because for one, I knew I didn't like school, but, you know, I knew how to be good. I knew how to get good grades, but I didn't actually enjoy it. I knew I didn't want to get like a job doing some regular shit or like working at a business or something. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to build into myself and invest in myself. And actually, it was around my sophomore year where I was like really convinced. I was like, I need to drop out. I really want to drop out. And I was actually going to drop out. I was talking to my dad, but my dad told me to stick it out. So I stuck it out, and it had some pros and cons, because after that point, I actually ended up playing football. So I played football at the University of Miami, and it was a cool little experience. Like, you know, it was like 2, almost 3 years of just playing football and having like that D1 athlete experience, having a little bit of clout, and, you know, having people treat you a little different just because of your status and whatnot. But looking back on that, it's like deep down in my heart, I knew that I didn't actually want to pursue a career in the NFL. Like, I was not trying to get all that brain damage. That shit hurt. That shit was annoying too. Like, I would go in every day to practice. I'd be like, I would literally be like that was me when I would go. I'd be like, fuck, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. Like, I'm not even getting playing time. Like, why am I doing all this? But, you know, I'm the type of dude that likes to stick things out. I'm the type of dude that likes to see things through to the end. You know what I'm saying? So what I ended up doing was, you know, I stuck it out, and I almost like, I tried to like brainwash myself into like, okay, if I'm doing this, I might as well go for gold. I might as well try to go to the NFL. So, you know, I would like train super hard, and I actually ended up overtraining to the point where like I could barely run, because I would go out, I was a DB, so I would go out and I would literally like, I'd be just stomping my feet on the ground, hitting brakes, you know, trying to get that back pedal, that crossover run and all that shit. So I actually really fucked up my hips, and it took me like, it wasn't until like literally like a couple months ago where I could normally run and like function normally and jump without feeling pain, because like, oh my gosh, I had just done so much training that it really fucked up my groin. But yeah, so anyways, back to the topic though, is like deep down around that time when I was wanting to drop out of college, when I talked to my dad, is like, I knew what I wanted to do. I was actually having success with social media. I built up almost 200,000 followers on TikTok, and I was like, okay, let me lock in and let me start, you know, providing value. I was like working on a fitness routine, and I was like, okay, maybe I could get into YouTube and start making YouTube videos. Like, y'all don't understand, this whole channel that I created, like, I've been thinking about doing this for like 2-3+ years and whatnot, but it wasn't until now when I've actually had the time to commit to it that I've been able to fully invest into it. But yeah, I say all that to say is like, if you know what it is you want to do, don't waste time going to college just because like that's the safe option, or just because that's what your parents want you to do, or just because that's what society wants you to do. If you know what it is you want to do, then go pursue that right now. Like me personally, I knew I wanted to pursue YouTube like 2+ years ago. And who knows, if I had started pursuing YouTube 2+ years ago and just taking that risk, taking that chance on myself, dropped out of college, I would be way further along than I am right now. Like, who knows? If I had started 2.5+ years ago, maybe I would be at 1 million subscribers by now. Maybe I would really be making an impact and actually have a whole community and whatnot. But I didn't take that risk. I went to college, I took the safe route, and because of that, I gotta pay the price, I gotta pay the time, I gotta do the time. So understand, if you know what it is you wanna do and you know that it doesn't involve getting a degree or having to get a job and whatnot to do it, then don't waste your time going to college. And also as well, just like, don't fucking take out loans to go to college, my nigga. Like, I personally, unless, like I said, unless you're trying to get a job, or unless you're going to like Harvard or Yale and you're really into the networking, but understand, networking just comes from being a valuable person. Like, just getting in those valuable circles isn't always going to guarantee that you're going to have a successful networking process. If you want to actually network successfully, in my opinion, you got to become someone of value, so that way, you know, you just naturally get on the same frequency and wavelength as people that are also successful. And then it's a give and take situation. It's not just you like trying to become friends with people to get something out of them. It's like you have something to offer them, they have something to offer you, you know, equal trade. You know, they ain't teach you that in economics. They ain't teach you that in Eco 101. I don't know what I'm saying. But seriously, yeah, if you got a scholarship too, or if you want to play sports or something, then yeah, go to college and whatnot, have your fun. But I would say this, just understand, always play the long game, because understand, college is only 4 years, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years if you go and get a master's degree. But after, you know, those initial 4 years, it's like you're really just working. Like, you essentially got a job if you're going and getting your master's, if you're going and getting your graduate degree. Just know what it is that you want to do. Have that main goal from the beginning. Like, if you have a scholarship but you know you don't want to get a job, then sure, go to college, but just focus on networking, focus on talking to people, but also focus on building a business while you're in college. You know, just fly by with the C's, because the C's do get degrees. If you want to play sports, then yeah, use college as a way to play your sport and just focus on that. Like, yo, coaches and whatnot and like administration not gonna tell you this, but genuinely, if you know that if you want to go to college to play football or basketball, and you know that you don't want to like work a normal job, or you know that you just can't, you know that's just not meant for you, don't even focus on school. Like, obviously, my nigga, go to class, get the C's and whatnot, skate by, but like, just focus on your sport. And if you do that, you're way more likely to go pro at whatever sport it is you want to do. So yeah, just keep the main thing. Focus on what it is that you want to do. And you know, if you got to pay for college and you don't know what you want to do, don't go. If you want to get a job and you know that you need to get a college degree to get that job, then do that. Just understand what it is that you want to do and understand the steps you need to take to get there at the end of the day. College is not some necessary requirement. It's not something that you need to do in order to be successful in this life. The internet has totally, like I said, it's opened the floodgates of anything that we think is possible. And every single day there's people making new inventions and finding new ways to use the internet to build their dream life. So just understand, college is not necessary, and honestly, it might even be a waste of time for you. So just look at yourself accordingly and make the right decision. I know that was like a whole tangent. This is a topic that requires a whole lot of nuance, but at the end of the day, just know, you gotta pay a whole bunch of loans out the ass and you don't even know what you wanna do, don't go to college. You can go to community college, you can take some time off. Like, there's a lot of options out there that don't really get voiced as much to people. And you just gotta understand, like, you got a lot of options. There's a lot of different ways to get to, you know, your ultimate dream destination, your dream life. So don't think that college is the only route, the only option you can take. Anyways, y'all, if you're still watching this, my bad for all the rambling, but fuck, you probably fuck with me and whatnot, so, you know, we probably pretty similar. So check out the top link in the description below, get your top 1% physique. I'm giving y'all programs on diet, recovery, training and whatnot. Also check me out on my other socials at @TheOneSule. Yeah, just stay up, stay blessed, and stay based. Also, don't forget to check out the last video I made about how getting shredded is actually easy. That one's got a whole bunch of good nuggets in there. It's talking more about the intangibles than really about the tangibles, because I've already told y'all about that. All that being said, dooski.